So let's take this question so that we can further understand the concept of equilibrium of forces. But this one has to do with triangle of forces. Triangle of forces. And what does the rule of triangle of forces say? The rule of triangle of forces says that when three forces act on a particular body, when three forces act on a particular body to keep it in equilibrium or to keep it in a stable position, that those three forces can be represented by the three sides of a triangle. So here we have three forces acting on a block. This is the block here. This is the block here, and this block is suspended by a rope here that has a tension T, another rope here that has a tension T, and this other force here acting downward represents the weight of the block. So now we have to find what T, the tension in those rope. Tension means when two forces act in a body in opposite direction. Like if you have a ball here, or if you have a rope, or if you have a rope here, someone is dragging the rope towards the right, another person is dragging the rope towards the left. The type of force the rope experiences is called tension. So this is what it is. So if we were to draw this one in good direction, in the proper direction, you can draw it, the arrow forward or backward. But for the safety of exam, you just keep it the way the question was being asked. But this is what tension means. So I proceed to what I actually want to do. So when three forces act on a body to keep it at equilibrium, those three forces can be represented by the three sides of a triangle. So now the problem is how do you convert these three forces to a triangle? How do you convert these three forces to a triangle? Now look at what I'm going to do. You see this first one here is acting downward. So parallel to that is, if you draw, this is the line parallel to it. So you see, so this 40 Newton acting downward, if I draw a parallel line to it to represent it, you can now see the way it operates with this first tension. This is the 40 Newton, don't mind my straight line. This is the 40 Newton, and then now you see how this first one operates with it. It goes this way, you see that, and here it is 30 degrees here, so this other place will be what? That it will be 90 minus 30, and 90 minus 30 is 60. So that means the angle this particular force here, this particular T here makes with this downward force is 60 degrees. 60 degrees. So now if you still sustain another parallel line for this downward force to this one, you see the way the direction of this one goes. You can't say you'll be drawing it like this, so you can still move it down like that. Okay, so that's what it will become, and that arrow, look at it. So this particular one here, we've extended it down. So if you check the angle of that force with respect to the vertical, that will be 60 as well. So that means the angle this one is making with the vertical, or this downward force, is still 60 degrees. Then with the rule of triangle, the sum of internal angle of a triangle equals to 180. So how do we get this other one? If I call this one y, y of course will be equals to 180 minus, you open bracket, the sum of these two, that's 60 plus 60 plus 60. So that would be 180 minus 180 minus 120. Okay, it's 60 degrees. So why is 60 degrees? So in that place we represented 60 degrees. That place we represented 60 degrees. So now the next step to go, and here is our 40 Newton, and then here is our T, and here is our T. Okay, so now to calculate T, we use since this is an equilateral triangle, it's not equilateral triangle, sorry, isosceles triangle when two sides. Okay, let's leave the type of triangle it is. What we actually have to do here is sine rule. We use sine rule to determine the value of our T. And how do we do sine rule? Sine rule will state that the side of the triangle over the sine of the angle opposite to that side. So let's start with this T here. This will be T here over the angle opposite to this particular side of this T is 60 over sine 60 will be equals to, you relate it with this one that has an actual value. So this will be 40 divided by another sine 60. So with this you can get your T. T will be equals to 40 sine 60 divided by sine 60. Sine 60 will divide cancel sine 60, so that our tension T there will be what? 40 Newton. 40 Newton. So this is the first method to do this. Another way to do this, if you don't really like the triangle of a thing and this and that, another way to do this is you resolve the two tension force or the two tension into their vertical component, and then use the principle of equilibrium that says sum of upward force will be equals to sum of downward force, or sum of forces acting on the right will be equals to sum of forces acting on the left. So before you do that, you have to resolve these two T's into their vertical component. So with respect to this 30 degrees, if to resolve these T's into their vertical component, that will be what? The vertical component will be represented by T sine 30. So you resolve for the first one plus you resolve for the second one, T sine 30 again, and then it will be equals to the sum of downward force, the only one downward vertical force here, which is 40, equals to 40. Now sine 30 is 1 over 2, so that will be T times 1 over 2 plus another T times 1 over 2 equals to 40. 1 over 2, T over 2 plus T over 2 will give you T, that's 1 T. So you have that your T equals to what? 40 Newton. So any method that you choose to go will still arrive at the same answer or destination. But if it was me that was writing this exam, I would go with this method too because it's pretty straightforward. So you resolve the forces into their vertical and then sum the upward force and equal it to the downward force, and it will give you what you are looking for. So that is how to do this. So subscribe to the channel. That is a way of moving the ministry forward. Then if you're interested in online classes in real time, you can join my WhatsApp group through the link in the description. Thank you.